a chair and join me today. Out in my workshop, I'm tinkering away. Wanda above staring down on me. Wonder what my next project will be. Working on my Johnson, my Mercury Mark 10. Firing up my StarCraft to fish again. Grab your friends and your dog is too, to watch Tim's Workshop on my YouTube. Hey, welcome to Tim's Workshop out here in the mini shed. Gonna start on part 2 of the reassembly of the Mark 10 1957 outboard motor. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave comments, hit the notification bell. If you like, give me a like, hit the hand thing. And then, over to the right, you'll see a little upside down there. Click on that. It'll give a brief description of the video, my disclaimer, my email address, if you want to email me on something, and some other information on there too. So anyway, let's get going on this old Mercury outboard. So last time we put the transom mount all together, and now we're going to mount it onto the lower leg. So we have these shock mounts that go in here, and the smaller one up here. Okay, so we're going to get those in, get them so they have the flat spots on both sides here, so when you put it in, you make sure you have it situated like this when you put it in, and that way it'll fit inside these slots. And when they're in there all the way, that's when you put the snap rings in. There's a groove inside here that keeps these in there. And then once those are in on both sides, and that's why you use a C-clamp, right, to get them in there. Can't use a C-clamp up here though, so we'll have to figure out what to do up here. But it might come in this way, but I'm not sure if it's deep enough to do that. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not deep enough. I might have to go get a, one of those long clamps, about this long, Okay, but it'll work for this one, so let's try that first. And what we want to do here, to make it easier to get these installed, is put a little oil on them, okay? Just a little bit. Oh, not too much. Okay. So we'll get that started in there. Then get the one for the other side. Get it all greased up. Okay, so let's lift this up. Tap this in a little bit. Okay, that's going in. Now let's get this one over here situated. Okay, so that's going in. So now what we want to do is, this will work on this, but this won't work on the other side, so we have to put a socket on that side. So let's make sure that this is going to get up there. Okay, and we want to unwind it a little bit more so a socket will fit on there. And let's get a socket that'll fit over that. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's see if we can get this snap ring in the slot here. Okay, got that one. Okay, so let's see if I can get this one on. All right, get this off. Put my mirror over here, see what it looks like. Yep, it's in there. Okay, now these, I need to clean these up before I put them on there. I think it would be better clean the edges. So we're going to clean those before they go on, plus the screws that go in there. So now we're going to see if we can get this one in there. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put a little oil on it. Put some down here on these. Make sure it slides into the other side. And then, before we do, take a little sandpaper. Okay, and now make sure this is in there right. Okay, just like that. Let's get this one started first. We have to lift up on it so it goes in there. And we'll tap it in. So let's lift this up. Okay, I think we can put the snap ring in there. Small one. That has it located so it'll make it easier to put the other side in. And then when we tap on it, it's not going to come back out. It will stay in. Okay, now get the screwdriver. Oh yeah. Now, to make this easier, I think I'm going to turn this thing around. So, clean this out. Slide this in so it's in the right spot. Tap this in. Okay, so that's in, but it's not far enough in to get the ring on there. So I got to get a clamp. I think Harbor Freight has them. Well, I got the transom mount on the lower leg. Got the new fuel hose on. Got this all ready to go. There's some bits and pieces that need to go on here. For one, we got a little overspray on the gear, so I'm going to take some Scotch-Brite, clean that off. But down here, there's a groove down here, and this is what I took off. What's left of an O-ring that was on there. I've seen an O-ring on these before. My Mercury doesn't have an O-ring on it, or my 60 horse doesn't have an O-ring like that. But I've seen other videos from other people working on outboards that some of these gear shafts have a O-ring on it. Well, this is one of them. so we're gonna. I got all kinds of O-rings, and I'm sure I can find one that'll match this and put it on there. But it looks like it. It looks like it melted. I kind of wonder if this motor got hot at one time, or I don't know. It sure looks like it got hot, doesn't it? But no other sign of heating in here that I see. So yeah, we're just going to clean some of the overspray off there. And before we put the motor on, of course, we'll put some marine grease just on the spline, not on the top. Don't ever do that. It'll hydrolock on you. So you just put some on the splines before you put it on. Went to Harbor Freight, and I got myself a clamp that will work to get this snap ring on. So that's good. There's enough room to put a socket on that side, so we'll get a socket set up there. Also got this at Harbor Freight too. I got a portable vise that you could put on a 2x4 or whatever going this way, and lock it in, and then you have a vise, and this vise will spin too, so you can move it around. So for 19 bucks. Not bad. It's a 2.5 inch vise. Plenty for what I work on. If I need something bigger, I just take it into my larger vise in the garage. But this for out my mini shed, for working on these outboard motors, it'll come in handy. I got that down, and I think I can get the snap ring on now. I use the wood handle instead of the socket. I think that's a little safer to use than a socket. Let's put this on there and see if I can get it snapped in. Okay. I think I got it. Okay, take this off. There we go. If this thing starts to spread out like it might have already, what you do is you take another piece of metal, and if you don't need all these 12 inches, you only need about half of it. Then take another piece of metal and push this back in so it's the same, distance across as it is down here. And just weld in another piece of metal here for reinforcement. I got an O-ring, same diameter, so should work. Looks like it'll fit very well in that groove, so we'll see. We'll find out when we go to put the motor on if it slides over the O-ring, hopefully. What we're doing here is we're gonna clean the paint off that. So that looks good. Now we'll take some marine grease. Put it on the O-ring. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Slide that on. That's probably why it had those marks on it, is from the motor sliding over the O-ring, and it makes grooves in it, I guess. So anyway, we'll wait on putting the grease around the rubber seal here and around the splines. We'll do that right before we put the engine on. So right now, I'm going to put my little winch up there, so we have something to hold on to the motor and slowly let it down. And I got some Permatech aircraft sealant. So from what I've read up on, that's the stuff to use on this. So we're ready to put the gasket on here. So let's do that. Okay, put on my gloves. I got the rod hooked up, okay, oriented so this 90 degree is facing towards the fuel pump side. I have the clip on the washer in there, so it takes up a little bit of that slop there, so that's good to go. So now let's put so this comes up through here like that, okay, and that goes like that. This on the other side. All right, up we go. Now, let's move this over. Let's come up more so I can get the rod in there. Okay. Now, down we come. Now, spread some of this grease around here. I was going to put my gloves on, but this will be fine. And then put some around this rubber boot so it slides on. There we go. There we go. Down she comes. one started. Two. Tilt this up a little bit. Okay. Rotate the crank a little bit. There we go. Undo this, lift it up out of the way. Okay, get this out. So that's done. So next, now we need to get these nuts on there. So what we're going to do, put my gloves back on. Put some anti-seize on these pins. Okay. Put the nuts on. Okay, now we're going to tighten that up. Okay, so those are all snug down. Now we're going to torque them, but I got to get my inch-pound torque wrench. What I did is I used 65 inch-pounds. The Keikenhofer torque specifications didn't call out the Mark 10 for a specific torque for the nuts that install the power head to the lower casing. So I looked it up, and 65 inch-pounds is what you're supposed to torque a quarter diameter bolt nut to. So I did that, and it came out perfect. Okay, so I torqued the 4 that I could get to, and then the 2 in the front you can't get a torque wrench on. I just equally put as much force as I did on the torque wrench for the other ones. So I think it's close enough that it's set. And so I let this, what I did is I snugged them down by hand, and then I went to the store, came back. That was well over 20 minutes, more like 45 minutes, and then I torqued it. Okay, so sealant, or that's considered a gasket sealer, but other types of sealant, that's the standard procedure for that, is wait 20 minutes after your first initial torque, then come back and torque it again after 20 minutes. And that lets anything that's in there squeeze out, and then you compress it for your final torque. That way you know. Okay, so I got the power head is on. Now we're going to start putting the transmission lever, the carb mechanisms, the magneto, hook everything up, fuel, all that. Okay, so that's coming up. So that's it for part 2 of the Mercury Mark 10 1957 outboard reassembly after the paint restore. Next video coming up, part 3, will be continuing on with the restore assembly. So if you like the video, please subscribe, leave comments, hit the notification bell, and if you like, give me a like. Hit the hand thing. Let your friends and family know about my videos too. So until next time, see ya.